education. Okay. Should I say got it? I guess I
Should you
should.
say what?
It's asking me, this meeting is being live streamed. I guess I gotta say got it. So I'm giving you my permission to see me. No, the meeting is being recorded by the host or a participant. Got it? Okay, now I don't have that big thing. Okay.
All right. And we're recording.
Hello.
Hello, class.
Hello,
Good to
teacher.
see all of you.
Yay.
So, I told you that we were going to do something apropos for the day,
Mhm.
and you were on the right track at first and then went a little bit off track from where I was headed.
Mhm.
So, let me fill you in some more on what I'm talking about. How would you, Ruthie, describe this day today as a Jewish day on the Jewish calendar?
It's part of Passover. It's kind of like in the middle.
Hmm.
Since you're looking to the end of Passover, you've been eating matzah for a while, so you're probably thinking, gee, when are we going to, this is going to be over. Um, Spiritually, I still have the feeling of the Seder. And a long time ago, I think we had Seders at the end of the period too, but I haven't seen them done that for decades.
Hmm. Well, you said a lot of good stuff there. So today is the sixth day of Passover. You're right, it's the middle of Passover. And so you're probably aware of this, although you didn't say it, that there are two different kinds of days in Passover in terms of levels of holiness.
No, I didn't know that.
Like
Explain
the beginning and the end, like the first day and the last day, and it
that.
might be the first 2 days and the last 2 days if you celebrate 8 days, are Chag. They are full-blown festival where you have the same kinds of halakha, Jewish law, that you would have for Shabbat,
Mhm.
meaning, you don't work, you don't do things that aren't like your job work, but aren't like you have the same kind of rest things. Like traditionally, you would not use electricity or drive, although most of us do in our community. But it has this level of holiness that's like Shabbat.
Mhm.
But then you have these days in the middle, like you said, we're in the middle,
Mhm.
and there's a Hebrew term for those days, Chol Hamoed.
Oh,
Let me show you those words. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right. So let me see if I
oh,
can move.
oh, there.
So there
There.
is Chol Hamoed. And so, in a practical sense, when we say this phrase, what we mean is the middle intermediate days of Passover that aren't quite as holy as the first and last day. You don't have the same kind of restrictions as Shabbat. You can go to work, you can watch TV, you can do any of your regular things, but there is some extra holiness. So, for example, if you were to daven today, if you were to say, go to a prayer service, there's Hallel. So, um, an extra part of the service, the sequence of Psalms for, um, that's the sign of a festival, really. So it's this intermediate, not only in time between the first and last day, but intermediate between uh, the holiness of a full-fledged Chag or Shabbat and just a regular day. It's in between. And it's sort of in this word, like if we look at this literally, functionally, it means intermediate days of Passover. And there's also another holiday. Do you know the other holiday that has Chol HaMoed?
No, not so. It has to be a long holiday. Sukkot, no, that's not that.
Sukkot.
Yeah, it
Sukkot
is.
has Chol Hamoed also. So Sukkot, same thing. First and last days are Chag, specially holy, and the days in the middle are intermediate. Like people go to work or go about the regular life, but you still have the mitzvah of being in a sukkah
Mhm.
and saying Hallel with lulav and etrog. So the same kind of thing. It's in between. So in this word, so moed means
Yeah. Yeah.
season.
Okay.
And it means season in the sense of seasonal holiday. I'm going to show you where we get that from.
It won't be like spring, fall. It's more like the holiday special religious type of thing, right?
Right, right. Yeah. Chol means regular.
Mhm.
So this phrase sort of means regular of the holiday,
Mhm. Okay, yeah.
like the hybrid between the regular and the holiday. Chol, I'm not sure if it meant this um, in ancient times, but I think it probably did because it means in modern Hebrew, this is the word for sand, like sand on the beach,
Huh? So
which
ordinary.
is kind of like a regular thing.
Mhm.
And you might recognize this word from your favorite service.
Havdalah.
You recognize this from Havdalah?
Cool. I need to
Bein
hear
Kodesh le
the call. Yeah, the
Bein
call.
Kodesh lechol,
Yeah, the
between
call.
the holy
Mhm.
and the regular.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
opposite of holy. But here we're putting it together with a holy day. And one of the places this is derived, there might be another place too, is this phrase here,
Uh,
Moadim lesimcha.
the Simca's holiday, right, or
Now,
celebration.
simcha means joy
Okay.
or happiness. And so this means sort of, it's often translated seasons of joy.
Would you say the Hebrew again for me, please?
Moadim lesimcha.
Moedim. Moedim Lach is all I can think of for that.
Le. Moadim lesimcha. So do you have your Siddur?
In big print,
Great. So turn to page 334.
because I do need my glasses. Sorry, 304, you said?
334.
333. 334, sorry. Oh, way over there. 334, come on. Way in the back, huh?
Yep. We're getting to the back of the book.
Or the front if you're reading American. Okay. Kiddush for festivals, evenings, correct?
Right. So, and since today is the 6th day of Passover, the 7th is a festival. So this would be, if you're having a festival meal tonight, which traditionally people do, you make Kiddush using this Kiddush. It's the same one that you do, same as at the Seder.
Okay.
So, well, the reason that we're on this page, though, is I want to show you this phrase, Moadim L'Simcha, in Kiddush. So, skip the Shabbat portion. The first 4 lines are about Shabbat, the Yom HaShishi. And we're going to go to, you see there's a one-liner, Baruch, with Borei Pri Agafen, and then another paragraph that starts Baruch. Over here, we're on 23.
I got it. Yeah.
Good. So now go 3 lines down from there.
1, 2, 3.
And right in the middle of the line after the parentheses.
Okay. Moadim, Lashim, Cha.
L'simcha. It's a sin. The dot is on the left.
On the side, right? L'simcha.
Right. So Moadim L'simcha. So here you could see it's talking about, if we skip over to the English side, Vatiten Vatiten lanu, you have given us, Adonai, our God, ahava, with love, festivals of joy.
Okay, I got that in holidays with happiness.
Right? Shabbat. We're skipping the Shabbat piece, right? And so that's where this phrase comes. And the reason I have it on here is you might be wondering, like, if you want to do a traditionally Jewish correct greeting today to someone, this is it. Moadim l'simcha. You don't say Chag Sameach because it's not Chag. Chag would be reserved for the first and last day, or first two and last two if you're doing the diaspora version. So it's Chol HaMoed, and so this phrase Moadim l'simcha was adopted as a greeting.
The rabbi sent me an email and that was in the bottom. Okay.
There you go. Right?
He knows what he's doing, right?
Right. Sometimes people use this as a greeting as well, Moed Tov. But this one, I think Moedim L'Simcha. So Moed just means Moed. Chol HaMoed. It's short for that, and Tov means good. So
Good intermediate.
you could say that. I think this is nicer and more traditional. So
again, that translates to English celebration. Say it again, the English translation for the middle one.
Seasons of joy, season or festivals of joy, or seasons of joy. So so that is what I have to show you about just today on the Jewish calendar.
Okay, nice.
And the greeting for today, if you want to, so Moedim L'Simcha, Ruthie.
Moedim
Lovely
Simcha.
to learn with you today. Oh,
The response will be repeating the same phrase, correct?
yeah, you repeat the same phrase back.
Nice.
So the world is your oyster for who
I impressed. Who'll be impressed? My brother.
There you go. So
Thank you.
you might be wondering, like, where did this idea come from that there are two different levels of holiness in a holiday?
Mhm.
Why not just have the whole thing Chag? Why not have the whole thing Chol HaMoed? Like, where did this come from? So I'm going to show you that now.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm going to share my screen again. Nope, that's not what I want to share.
Any time frame when this became, well, people just greet. I don't know how there'll be a time frame for that.
When it became Chol HaMoed?
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have somewhat of an answer for you right here. So,
Nice and big print. Thank you. Print's big and dark. I
is
appreciate
it big enough?
It's big and dark too. That's great.
Good. So here we've got Leviticus chapter 23, verses 5 through 8. And this is part of a whole chapter that goes through all of the holidays, the pilgrimage festivals. Pilgrimage festivals are the three big holidays: Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot.
Mhm.
And there's probably some other festivals in there too. But in the way this talks about Pesach, we can see where this idea comes from. In the first month, on the 14th day, the month of Dusk, is the Eternal's Passover.
Month of dusk at dusk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The first month means the month of Nisan,
Mhm.
our month. 14th day at dusk. So that's a funny way of putting it, because the 14th day at dusk is the beginning of the 15th day.
As opposed to the big ending. Yeah. Dusk. Yeah.
So so it's saying that right before dusk, I think, is right before sundown,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yep.
So it is still the 14th day, because so you do the Passover sacrifice or offering right before sundown.
Mhm.
And then on the 15th day, right when the sun goes down, it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Chag HaMatzot, it's called,
Mhm.
unto God. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. So it's telling you, all right, here we've got, it doesn't call the holiday Passover, or Passover is also the Englishization of Pesach. So Pesach here is just the name of the offering,
Oh,
right?
I didn't know. I didn't
It-
realize
it-
that.
so originally, it seems like there might have been two related but separate things: the Passover offering and Chag HaMatzot, the festival of matzah,
Mhm.
and they became collapsed over time, or maybe they were always connected. It's not clear. I don't think. So 7 days usually unleavened bread. So we've got a 7 day festival
Mhm.
of eating unleavened bread. But you read 7 and 8.
Pardon me?
Could you
In the
read
first,
7 and 8?
oh, so,
You
I'm sorry. I thought you meant days. Yeah.
divided it?
In the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no manner of servile work. Eh,
So what does that tell us?
No,
That it's
ordinary.
like a chag, like Shabbat,
No, yeah, no ordinary work. Yeah.
right? It's telling us it's like Shabbat. You don't do any
First day you shall.
malachah, any kind of
Holy
work. Or go on
convocation
to
is
8.
just a convocation just means group of everybody together, correct? A holy
Yeah,
convocation.
gathering.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you shall bring an offering made by fire unto the eternal 7 days, and the seventh day is a holy convocation. You shall do no manner of servile work. So it's you shall bring by
So
fire.
which days does it say you shall do no work?
The first day, and you shall bring offering by fire on this one. In the seventh day. No, yeah, no, by fire to the children. In the seventh day, well, the first and last.
The
Correct?
first and last. So is there anything special about the middle, though?
It's in between.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, wait. You want me to do 5, 6? You want me to read it
No,
or
no, 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 no. I'm asking you. So we've learned from these two verses that the highest holiness, the no servile work, is
Mhm.
day 1 and day 7.
right?
What about days 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6?
Got to be special because it's surrounded by holiness, but it doesn't say you
Yes, but there's more specificity than that, though.
you
What does
shall
it tell you to do on those
not
days?
eat bread, not eat bread, or not eat.
Great.
Yeah.
So don't eat bread. So that's something very special.
Mhm.
That, you know, if you could imagine, like, that would upend their lives back then more than it does for us, because, like, they didn't have pasta or, I mean, they didn't have rice or, uh, other things to eat, really.
And we have all the substitutes now. Anyways, modern days, even in a sense, more there's more options. But you're right.
Right. There's like bread was the main thing in their diet, so they had to eat a lot of matzah. And there's something else at the beginning of verse 8.
You shall bring you're bringing something to the temple.
Right, you bring an offering all 7 days.
Mhm.
Um,
When I say made by fire, does that mean I'm burning an animal?
well, it means that it's it's something that could be an animal or it could be a grain sacrifice.
Okay. And
Like
is it
if you don't have the means to bring an animal, then you
mhm.
bring some flour or some grain that you have and
is
offer that in lieu of the animal.
Is it burnt because burning gives off a smell and it evokes more sensation, more something holy? Because it doesn't just say bring something, it says made by fire. So it's
Right,
smoking.
so it's definitely burned, and there's a lot of language when it describes these offerings that it's a pleasing odor to God.
Okay.
So, like, there is this, I don't know how literally we want to take it, that's up to interpretation, but there is this idea that's presented that's very anthropomorphic that we burn these things and they go up to God in the form of smoke.
Mhm.
And it smells good to God. It probably didn't smell all that good to the people.
And much like my favorite Havdalah, it uses all the senses.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, to me, is very clear, making that distinction between Chag and Chol HaMoed. Because these days, the days that are not Chag, that are not 1 and 7, between 1 and 7,
Mhm.
you're still observing the festival of Matzah, and you're still bringing a special sacrifice every day.
But you can go to work.
But you could go to work. Right.
There's nothing I
You
couldn't,
go
I'm
about
just,
your business. So it's in between right in the Torah.
Mhm.
So it's not given the name Chol HaMoed, but the idea is very clear right there in the Torah.
Yeah, nice.
So, are you ready to move on to the next topic?
Yes, I am. This is really good. And I got a private tutor. I'm lucky.
So,
I can go at my pacing.
there is something special about the seventh day of Pesach. And I could see that my slide is giving it away a little bit.
First day you shall have the home.
Um,
Don't worry.
I was going to ask you what prayer is most associated with the seventh day of Pesach. And the hint is in this title that I'm highlighting.
Red Sea. Oh, Mi Chamocha. No.
Mi Chamocha.
Oh, I guessed right.
Right. Because according to our tradition, the crossing of the Red Sea took place on the seventh day of Passover.
Oh, nice. I know, but I knew that, but I never really consciously knew it, shall we say.
So you might be wondering, where did they get this idea? So I have a little text about that too that we could read. But we just think the idea is that they left Egypt on the first day of Passover,
Mhm.
and that it took them 7 days to get to the Red Sea.
Mhm.
But there's a little bit more to it, according to Rashi.
A little cartoon.
So we're going to look at this text right here. That he, I can read this one. It says, Pharaoh sent public officers with them when they left Egypt, meaning. And as soon as they had reached the 3 days' journey, which he had fixed for them, because originally Pharaoh had said, or Moses said, we want to go on a 3-day journey to worship our God. So Pharaoh still had in mind this 3-day journey. So he told the officers to return after 3 days. And the officers perceived that the Hebrews, were not going back to Egypt. They came and told Pharaoh on the 4th day.
This is all new. This is good.
On the 5th and 6th day, Pharaoh gathered his army and pursued after them. On the night of the 7th day, they went down into the sea. And on the following morning, the Israelites, sang the song of praise, Shirat Hayam, and that's the song that Mi Chamocha comes from.
Huh?
And this was the 7th day of Passover. And that is why we read the song.
Oh, this is putting a lot of things together. Thank you.
So this is a midrash. This is not in the Torah.
Okay. All right.
So Rashi, his self-description of his interpretive project for Torah is that he gives you the peshat, the plain meaning of the text. However, he brings a lot of midrash when he thinks it elucidates the plain meaning of the text. So this is not in the Torah.
Okay, because I was going to think. Okay, so in the Torah, it doesn't say that Moses said he's going to see his God and kind of going to Sinai. That wasn't in the Torah.
I think that actually is.
Oh, and then he was going to go back.
When Moses asks Pharaoh to let the people go, he always says, "Let us go have a festival to worship our God, a 3-day journey."
Oh, I didn't realize that. It's just going away forever.
No.
No.
When Moses asks, he's asking for a 3-day vacation.
He was looking for, what do they call, retreat?
Yeah. It's kind of strange that he's not asking for freedom permanently.
I didn't realize that.
He's asking for a 3-day vacation to have a religious retreat.
Okay.
And then when Pharaoh doesn't grant that, then they convert it into complete freedom.
The details of this, I'm wondering if when did the Pharaoh realize they weren't coming back?
Well, who knows
That like,
for
who knows?
sure, or whether this
Anyway, sure,
happened.
exactly.
But according to Rashi,
Okay, good source.
Pharaoh learned of it on the fourth day,
Mhm.
because for days 1 through 3, they might still come back after the 3-day journey. When they didn't come back, but his officers came back instead, saying that the Hebrews weren't coming back, that's when he learned about it, on the fourth day. And then it took until the 7th day for his army to catch up to them at the Red Sea.
Mhm.
It's actually kind of if you think the story is plausible at all,
Okay, yeah.
it's a plausible timeline. It's more plausible than the rest of the story, actually.
And like they went in the movie of it, they're taking everything with them, the tables, the this and that, because they knew they were going away forever. But they wouldn't have done that if they were just going for a 3-day vacation.
Right.
A retreat, I think is probably a better word.
Well, they did take whatever they had, they took with them.
Yeah.
So,
This is very interesting.
what I was going to do now with the whole class was to start
Right off
to
the-
read Mi Chamocha.
Okay, we can do that. If you want to put me through it.
If you're
read
up
it.
for it. If not, we could do something else, or chat or end or something.
That's okay. No, I think it was funny because I think this is what I did with Roni yesterday.
Oh, you worked on Mi Chamocha?
What I did, I'm squawked from the temple. Because we would never know, what should we do today? By the time we found the page, waste of time. I borrowed because this basically is a service. The translator, not transliteration, is it I think it's translator. We don't use it, but we use it for sources, the Sabbath evening, this thing. I took this and we each have our own. What page, let's do this. What page is on? Then we go to the Siddur.
Nice. So Mi Chamocha for the evening is
There
on
isn't that much. I was
32.
looking, go ahead, I'm sorry.
What?
When we found it, it's just the dark writing in the middle, is the Mi Chamocha. What page is it
Well,
on?
there's the
But I have a question.
there's the 3 lines after it as well.
Well, because we were questioning, because once we turn to page 32, actually, this is good we're doing this, because it's relevant. Rona, I think, is going to enjoy this tape.
Good.
Because we had questions and we just didn't, where. Okay, on page 32, Mi Chamocha starts in the dark print, like
Right, the bold face.
below half, right? And all this stuff on top of it. We didn't know what it was all about. That has anything to do with Mi Chamocha? That, I know that's not
Yeah.
sun. That is?
So do you remember, Ruthie, that Shema and its blessings is a unit that we talked about? And what that means is Shema is framed in this idea of creation. That's the Yotzer Or and roll into dark, the first paragraph after Baruch Hu. And then Revelation, that's Ahavat Olam or Ahava Rabbah. That's about God's love for us expressed through God's giving us the Torah. Then we have Shema, 3 paragraphs of the Shema. And then after that, we have Revelation.
Oh, okay.
And so this whole page is about Revelation. So we have this paragraph before Mi Chamocha that's sort of like an essay written by one of the rabbis about redemption, not revelation. It's about redemption.
I'm looking at the English right now. Yeah.
So we could read it if you want. So we affirm the truth that God alone is our God, and that we are God's people, Israel. That's sort of a reiteration of Shema.
Right.
Right?
So this from the
God redeems us, right? So here's our topic sentence. God redeems us from the power of kings and deliver us from the hand of all tyrants, bringing judgment upon our oppressors. So that is redemption, God's saving power. Bringing judgment upon our oppressors and retribution upon all our mortal enemies, performing wonders beyond understanding. This is all warming us up for Mi Chamocha, because that is the prayer of redemption that we're about to say. God has maintained us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, guided us to triumph over mighty foes, all about redeeming us, exalted our strength over all our enemies, vindicating us with miracles before Pharaoh, with signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. God smote in wrath Egypt's firstborn. Because this, the 10 plagues and the miracle at the Red Sea is the preeminent example of God's redeeming Israel.
Mhm.
Redeeming actually has a meaning a little bit different from saving, because redeeming means taking one out of an imprisoned situation.
As opposed to, wait, how is that?
As opposed to just saving from a danger of like a natural disaster or something. So Israelites were enslaved.
Mhm.
Redemption means freeing from the slavery.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Sometimes it has kind of a flavor of more general saving. So that's what this paragraph above it is.
Mhm.
Traditionally people say all these words. It takes a lot of familiarity to be able to do it at all, let alone to do it with kavanah, to do it with intention and feeling. So we skip to the highlight, Mi Chamocha.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you want to read Mi Chamocha for me in Hebrew?
Sure. No, it's weird if I sing it, I get it right. If I read it, I have to be careful
No,
with this.
singing is
Which
easy.
is, no, I'm better off. That's why I joke with Rona, because she says, I hear you sing it all the time. I said, yeah, if I get the tune, but really, if you listen, I'm probably off on all the vowels. So this one, when I read it, it forces me to see if I'm reading it, okay? Because I can, if I just go fast, I can go fast and do it right, but that's not really learning. Mi Chamocha ba'eli Adonai, Mi
Time out. You might have been doing that correctly, but I heard some things that I have questions about.
Okay. This is what was good. I mean, yes, thank you.
Me what? What's the second word after me?
Mika mo ka.
So hold on.
No,
I'm not clear whether you're going k or ch.
I am not either. Okay.
Oh, you're fudging. You're fudging. You're trying to have it both ways, all right?
Probably.
A lot of our students do that too.
So that would be the k, not the ch. It
It
wouldn't
would
be
be
the guttural.
ch.
It would be the guttural. It would be the guttural state.
Ch. Chamocha.
Yeah. So that's the guttural. That's guttural. Cha,
Right.
yeah,
And how do you know that?
because it doesn't have the dot.
Correct.
Okay. So if it doesn't have the dot, it's the ch. If it doesn't have the cough drop, which is ka, it has the ch. See my way I learn. Me.
Now the next word, read that one again more carefully so I could hear every sound.
Mi Chamocha. And then I'm going ba lim by a lim.
Leem. Yeah, I didn't hear the mem at the end.
Probably did. You probably didn't. Because if I do it, because I'm saying, if I'm paying attention, I say it. If I'm singing it, I don't say it. Thank you. I'll
Yeah,
get
a
it.
lot of people leave that off.
I know. Mi ka. That's a ka, not a cha. Mi ka mo ha. That's a cha.
Good. Good. That one's kamocha.
Yeah,
Good.
got it. Nedar ba kodesh.
Good.
Now, if I were to sing it, I could zip through it. But that's why this is good. That's why I say tell Rona every time. I say, oh, this is really good for me. Let's see. No ra ta he lot ose vele.
Good job.
Mi Chamocha ba'eli. I'm trying to sing it and pronounce everything at the same time. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. I don't get the right tune there. Mi Chamocha nedar bar kodesh. I can't sing it with put the vowels in it. It's like, I read it right, I know, but I was trying to get the tune doesn't go with it. No,
Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Was that the tune you were doing?
yes, I was trying. I wasn't doing it, but I was trying.
Mi
Actually, can I sing with you? Would
Chamocha
you please slow?
neder b'kodesh. That's
No.
Debbie Friedman.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's all different versions of it, aren't there?
There's
Yeah.
many, many
I
different.
know. I know. I know. No, but that's the one that was when I was trying to sing. Want to sing it with me?
Sure. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha neder b'kodesh. Norah tehilot osei
No.
Norah tehilot
Oh,
osei.
good. I got the tune and the vowels.
Good.
Thanks to you. No, it was interesting. We were singing together. I don't think we were singing together. It didn't, you know how when you do it in Zoom,
I know it wasn't
oh, you
quite
were keeping
right,
up with
but
me. No,
not
but
too
no, that wasn't bad. I
not too
think.
bad. So that's not the end of Mi Chamocha, though, right?
Yeah, where is it? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Is that where it goes? No.
It goes up to there.
Where it says Adonai Yimlo, right?
That's where it ends.
Yeah, okay. And but the thing with the little square that's not dark is part of it too, isn't it?
Yes. So
Well, okay.
why don't
Okay.
you read that?
Mali, Mali, Malek, Mal, Malkutecha,
Good.
Ra'u, Vanecha,
Good.
Bokeya, Yam, Lifnei Moshe.
Mm-hmm.
Ze Eli Anu Yam Yam
Ve.
Ru.
Ve.
Was that wrong? Wait.
Ve.
Oh, Be'amru. Ru. I'm saying it 5 times. Be'amru. Okay.
And then the last 4?
Anoyim lo. Well, read it, don't say it. Sorry. I'm on automatic. Adonai lo. La lo la o lam ed.
Good. You want to sing that part in the same tune?
Yeah. Which way are we going to do? Adonai or the middle part?
Malchutecha.
Okay. Okay.
Malchutecha
Oh my God.
ra'uvanecha. I'll start again.
I don't. Wasn't that funny? It doesn't sound to my ear right because it's in the middle. I should know this.
The middle.
Like Mi Chamocha.
Let's start from Mi Chamocha then. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha neder b'kodesh. Norah tehilot osei Norah tehilot osei Malechutecha ra'uvanecha Bokei yam lifnei Moshe Ze Eli anu ve'amru Ze Eli anu ve'amru Adonai yimlo Olam va'ed Adonai yimlo
Leolam,
va'ed.
Oh, I said it. All the vowels right. That was
So I have
good.
a question for you, Ruthie.
Mhm.
Why do you think some lines are bold and some lines are not?
Wasn't paying attention. What are they saying? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. Give me a hint.
Let's look at the English. Let's look over at the English. You'll
I-
notice that the bold lines are indented, and there's also transliteration for those.
I'm lost it here. I don't see where you are.
So go over to the English page 32.
Because Mi Chamocha, that's obviously a transliteration. Who are like you, Adonai.
And those what's bolded is transliterated and indented and in quotation marks.
Okay. So it's like that. No.
So what do you think?
Affirming God? No.
What?
Affirming God? No. I know she'll reign throughout all time. So you're affirming God, but I don't know. Who is like you? It's questioning God. No, it's again saying who is, it's almost,
Hint.
it's a
Hint.
retail, it's a,
Hint. I'm going to give you a hint.
I need a big hint.
It's not about the meaning. It's about the
Saying,
source.
okay, that was my original gut feeling before I started the whole thing. That's funny. It was a whole group singing, the chanting as they're going across the Red Sea. No?
So these bold-faced lines, the ones that are indented in quotation marks, these are quotations from the Torah.
Okay.
So these are quotations from Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, in the Torah.
Why is it called the Song of the Sea? I'm being fresh.
The ones that are not bold-faced in Hebrew and that are not in quotation marks, those are things written later by the rabbis who put the prayers together.
Oh, wow.
However, you notice that in the middle of it, there is a quotation. This is my God. That's in Hebrew the words Ze Eli. That's also taken from the song, but they figured that it's in the middle of a sentence. So I guess they weren't going to give it that kind of special treatment. So you can see that, like, the who is like you, Adonai, among all that is worshipped, that rhetorical. Oh, that's good that they don't have a question mark there. They have an exclamation point to tell you that it's a rhetorical question. Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders. That's lifted from this song.
Sorry. I'm going to ignore it, see what happens. I can't shut it off. It's my landline. Should I pick it up now? Sorry, we can go through it. Does that bother you?
No, it's fine. So
It's off anyways, good.
So then when we get to the next part, as you divided the sea before Moses, your children beheld your sovereignty. So that's a commentary.
Okay. Huh.
Or a framing, maybe you'd say. This is my God, they proclaimed. Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed. And so it's sort of providing a little narrative glue to make sure that people understand these quotations from the Torah. And there's actually some of that before it too. Like the end of the paragraph, starting maybe 3 lines up. When God's children beheld the divine might, they sang in praise, gladly accepting God's sovereignty. Moses and the people of Israel joyfully sang this song to you.
And then it goes on.
Right? That's also framing it. Rabbinic framing of the Torah text. And you can see that is often, you see, if you go over to the Hebrew side, 2 lines above Mi Chamocha, you see there's a little box there.
Yeah. We were wondering what the little box meant when we were doing this.
So the little boxes are an aid for service leaders. So in a service where all these words are done, they're not necessarily all done out loud. Like if I'm leading a service that includes this, I would say the first couple of words of Hebrew, the paragraph, and then I would do the rest very quickly, sort of in my mind, mumbling it until I got to the box. And then I would go, Umachotu v'ratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe v'nei Yisrael lachanu shira b'simcha rabba ve'amru chulam. It's where you pick up, the leader picks up to do aloud.
This is our prayer book is a conservative prayer book.
Correct.
The Reformed prayer book have it exactly the same way?
I don't think so.
There's no rule that they would. I mean, I'm just saying.
Like it.
They can edit it any way they want.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
some things will be different, some things will be the same. It's
Okay.
hard for me to know exactly what.
No, but it doesn't, there's no rule that exactly the same, no matter what, they can change it for good reasons.
Yeah, the reform movement has a lot of changes and additions.
Okay. But now, the
Like some
conservative.
of them are deletions,
Mhm,
some of them are rephrasings,
mhm,
and there's also additions of
okay.
things that they think work better than the traditional text for our contemporary congregations.
Then to jump it backwards the other way, would an Orthodox book be the same as a conservative? Oh, you don't know.
Mostly. You want an example of something that's not the same? Page 35B.
Oh, I know that. Because we have women as when I knew that when I first started. I know right. That was right away. We never use a.
Right. Yeah, the Orthodox would be just
They
like
only have a. They
35A.
don't have know what
Right,
B is. Right.
right.
Okay.
You know, there might be some other things that are slightly different, but not very much.
Yeah.
Like Orthodox prayer books might have a few things that are not in a conservative prayer book. And there might be a couple of other little changes. For example, page 38.
The silence, the
So
meter.
this is the middle of the this is the end of the evening Amidah for Shabbat. And see at the top of the page we have Shalom Rav.
Yeah.
So when we sing this, we sing Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Skip those words, Tasim Le'olam. That's what's in an Orthodox prayer book. It's the way that we actually sing it. The Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel are additional words to make the prayer for peace universal rather than particularistic to Israel.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know that. I didn't pick that up when I read it. That's nice.
The Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel means um, and and for all of the inhabitants of the earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there are little things like that, but it's
The session. Thank
largely
you.
the same.
I love the session. This is so good. It's right where I am. I appreciate it.
Just tell people not to show up for
Don't
class.
show up. I can ask all my questions instead of being quiet and hearing what I know. This is good. No, thank you.
And so that's basically what I have for class today.
And I
Ruthie.
learned a lot. Thank you. And new stuff. New stuff. Great. I got my questions answered.
Good.
No, thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it and your
You're
skill.
very welcome. I'm going to stop the
Okay.
I'm going to stop the